Welcome, everybody, to JW News tonight with Vern and myself. But tonight, we are missing Vern once again, unfortunately, because he is sick and I think he's in the hospital right now. But if anybody wants to get in contact with Vern, please reach out through email, through Discord. You can reach out to his good wife on those platforms as well. If you wanted to send any cards or just anything, there is, I think, a P.O. box that was shared in the last stream in the chat. So I hope that any mod that joins tonight or his good wife would join the chat to give an update about that so that we can get our love, our thoughts, and our prayers to Vern at this time. And so, since I don't want to do this news segment by myself, I once again invited my trusty co-host, King Tony. Welcome to JW News, King Tony, for the second time in a row.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. And we miss Fern, honestly. So hopefully some good news. I did message Shauna before the
Mhm.
show, and she said hopefully he's coming home soon.
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
so we'll find out
yeah, we'll find out.
really soon. Yeah, I mean, sorry guys, the vibe is going to be different because Vern's not here to give his input or thoughts, like he would have other stories that I never,
Right,
never heard about, and I'm like, "No, what?" And then, we kind of shock each other like that.
right.
So, I know the vibe is different, but at least we have King Tony as backup to talk about things. And since I had you last week, there was a lot of other stuff that we missed and didn't get to cover. So
Hmm.
this is actually good that we can cover it again. So I hope we do good by Vern if he's watching. Hopefully he gets better soon, or if he sees this in the future, Vern, we love you and hope that you get better soon.
Yes.
So before we begin, I'm going to give an introduction to everybody who is watching tonight. If you are watching on X, you can join the party on YouTube of, everybody in the chat over here. You know what I'm saying? Because not that many people comment through X, but, the party's at YouTube right now. So if you want to join us, please do. And let me know if you are here, guys, whoever's watching. We have Jay. Hi, Jay. Leonard. Michelle, she says, hello, my favorite people. Oh, that's so nice. We got Faded in San Diego. Yeah. I noticed the name change, San Diego, and I just saw your message on Discord too, right before I hit live. So I didn't read the whole thing, but I did see that you were changing your YouTube name. So that's cool. We got Tony in the chat, and we have Tony with us on stage. Yes, Michelle, you have to click live chats because we are live at the top of the messages. So you can see everything as it goes. Yeah, so Vern got sick a few days ago when I think it was during it was on Wednesday. It was on Wednesday that I think he got admitted because we were in the chat with Joe and Fran, and that's when all the information was being told to us. So I didn't know, anything at the time. So now I know that he's actually in the hospital. So if you are with us on Discord, just keep in touch with us. Like we're like a little Discord family. So just keep in touch with us and we will get that information if anybody needs it so that they can reach out to him. Jesse's in the chat. Hey, Jesse. And Rebecca, Becky, XJWMJ. Hey, MJ. He says, hi, Ruby, heading to bed. Wanted to stop in and say, hey, I'm going to watch the rest tomorrow. And hey, Tony. Aw, that's so nice, MJ. He's here. Yo, his last video. Did you see that video that he posted not too long ago?
No.
It was so professionally done. And I think that Vern brought it up in one of our streams. And
Okay.
it exceeded like 10K views. Like
Wow.
it kind of blew up for, like for our
You
community.
gotta show me. You gotta show me it. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to see that. It was really, really good. Let's see who else is in the chat. Sherry D. She says, don't be a Pimo, just go. I know, but it's so hard. And I realize that now that I've met so many PMOs in the community, because I was the type of rip the band-aid as well. Like, get this over with. I want to just never come back, like, but it's not that easy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. He said it's about to hit 100K. Wow.
No.
Yeah. We're gonna have to.
Congratulations, MJ. Oh
Yeah.
my
That's,
God. Illegal immigrant is in the chat. We got to call ICE. Let's see who else is here. Sherry D, Debbie Smith. Hey, Debbie.
Oh my God. We got a snitch.
Joe and Fran. Hey, Joe and Fran. Alish. Alish is in the chat. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Sorry, I don't know. Alish. Eilish says, hi, ladies, new follower. Wow, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel.
Hello.
We usually have this old guy with us, but he's sick at the moment. And he's so much fun. But yeah, if you stick around long enough and he's, back with us, you will be able to see our, the different vibe that the JW News has. He's a lot of fun. Check out his videos, check out his, previous lives. And I'm just filling in for him, and then Tony's filling in for me because I'm usually on that side of the screen. So Tony's here with us. Wow, MJ. Yeah, he said it's about to hit 100K. That's crazy, MJ. And I remember like early on and with MJ, he was like, oh, I do such great videos. I'm working so hard and it doesn't reach the views that I thought it would. And he struggled with that. You know what I'm saying? So as an outsider looking in, seeing this is so rewarding, like that's great to see him. He's finally up,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, K Fred, JG, hello. The Higher Evolutionary says, I'm also a newcomer. I just found your live. What?
Wow.
What the? It's so rare that we get new people that actually say, like, hey, I'm new. Hey, what's up? That is amazing. 2 new people. That's great, guys. Yeah, follow all of our channels. I'm Ruby Quinn. You can find me on YouTube. This is Fixing My Faith with Vern. And he's a Canadian XJW that does YouTube lives and also hosts Joe and Fran's show every Wednesday night. And I have my own stuff on my own channel. King Tony is going to start really soon posting and becoming a content creator. We started a little cooking show, making little cooking videos. Oh, did you see my new cooking video that I posted on the Instagram?
Yeah.
I kind of made myself laugh with my own edits. It was really good. Yep. Elish. Oh, wow. Yeah, 35K. Wow, that's still good, MJ. That is still good. Yeah. Especially for us, because we have such a small niche like community that whenever one of us really makes it, it's like, wow. Because, when you see all of these like Exmo channels, like Ex-Mormon, LDS, or like any other cult that have their own stuff, they are like through the roof, like most viewed or like 100-something thousand subscribers and stuff. So it's like the JWs are still low in numbers, even in the outside world. Like, damn. We just want to be somebody. Remember when Grandma used to say that? Remember when Grandma and Jerry used to say that all the time? Like, I just want to be somebody. And I don't know what quote they got that from. Was it from a movie or something?
They were always quoting movies, always.
Yeah, like they would say, like, I just want to be somebody. I'm gonna have to Google that to see where they get that from. Leonard Smith says, when you both were witnesses, did you guys do the field services?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? What, you mean like preaching door to door?
Yeah. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. Knocking door to door. Yes, sir.
Leonard. I mean, Tony kind of, she took Bible studies. She was like a catechumen for the JWs for a little bit. and then she got baptized later, like teenage, young adulthood. And that was something that she really wanted to do. She went to pioneer school, she became a pioneer. And that was, I would say, that was more of like your spiritual, goals that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Whereas I was a child slave. I had to go. And
Yeah,
I
you
was
were forced.
forced. Yeah, I was forced to go because I was cradle JW.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, MJ. Good night. A pasta cook? That's a good name. A pasta cook. Dang, Jesse is always coming up with the good ones.
Yes, he is.
JG says Ruby's Tuesday political show is the bomb. Aw, thank you, JG. We have a lot of fun over there.
Me too.
We have a lot of fun. All right, I'm just going to scroll down. Okay, I think we've reached to the end of it in all of our introductions. Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy everybody is with us here. We have a lot. We have like maybe 2 or 3 stories that we want to get into, but it's a lot of information that is going to be like last time where we almost went, well, it was like 2 hours, right? And I didn't really intend to go that long. So I hope I'm not that long tonight. So I'm going to try to keep everybody here for just an hour. Okay, so the first thing that we forgot to mention last Friday was something about the ministerial servants. So if anybody doesn't really know about JW positions and culture, a ministerial servant is like the helpers of the elders. So they have limited privileges, limited authority, but it's almost like an intern because in the long run, the real goal is to become elders themselves. So they are really like put under the wing of an elder. They use the ministerial servants for the counter, passing mics. I think they also give talks. Like they have those types of privileges as well. If anybody used to be an ex ministerial servant, please let me know in the chat. How was your experience? At what age did you become a ministerial servant? Because that's what we're really going to get into. The JWs are really struggling right now. So the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses are struggling finding men that are qualified to even become considered a ministerial servant, elder, and the list goes on. There's levels to this, right? So at the very bottom for a man would be, passing mics, like little boys would pass mics at the Kingdom Home. And then once he's a young teenager, maybe 16, 17, 18, they are looking for the position of ministerial servant. By your mid-20s, late 20s, you want to be an elder. Like that's the dream of a JW young man, young boy. And so I saw this video from Kim and Mikey, and the title of it is New Elders Letter, January 16, 2025, Updates on Elders Manual. So this is also why I wanted to ask Vern about this, because he does chapter videos on his channel where he actually reads the Elders Manual live for everybody to see. He puts it on the screen and he goes chapter by chapter. And so what Kim is talking about in this video is about an update to the position of ministerial servants. So I'm going to play a majority of her video. I hope she doesn't mind, but this is for the community, so I hope it's okay. I'm going to play her video. She's going to read it. She's going to show us the update, and then she's really going to get into about the age. You see, that was something that I really didn't think about the age that these young men were put, forward to get these positions of power. Oh no. Hold on, guys. I got to go back. The skip button. So let me go back. Sorry, guys. Okay, I got it.
2024 Watchtower. There was an article, it was the study edition, and there was an article about Jesus' last 40 days on earth. Now, when you go to page 16, paragraph 15 and 16, They were talking about elders who could encourage and train and assist the young men to become elders and to reach out for positions. Now, when you look at the footnote, the bottom of page 16, in some cases, qualified men in their mid to late 20s may be appointed as circuit overseers. However, such men must first gain experience as serving as elders. So, with that being said, it's like, well, if they're going to be appointed by circuit overseers when they're in their mid to late 20s, then that means they can be appointed as ministerial servants and elders even younger. And I remember us doing a video about it, and I don't remember if they mentioned, teenagers can be appointed as ministerial servants if they are serious in all of this. I don't remember, and I couldn't find where that was, but, for some reason it's in my mind. So with that being said, I want to read the letter that just came out. Announcements for elders. Minimum age for appointment of ministerial servants and elders. The Shepherd Book will be updated in due course to reflect the adjustment regarding the minimum age for appointment of ministerial servants and elders. See, we've been waiting for the elders book, the new updated elders book. It was supposed to come out in November. Now we know why. For coordinators of the body of elders, minimum age for appointment of ministerial servants and elders, please assure that the appointment for congregations is read at the next 2 congregation meetings and thereafter posted on the information board for at least 1 month. And then the announcement to the congregation, same thing, effective immediately. A baptized brother must be at least 18 years of age to be appointed as a ministerial servant. A baptized brother must be at least 21 years of age to be appointed as an elder. If a brother is already serving as a ministerial servant or as an elder but is younger than the minimum age, he can continue to serve. Now, when we read this, first thing we said is, legal liability. See, they have to be at least 18, which is the legal age here in the United States. Are they running into problems or lawsuits over their young ministerial servant and elder age? And I remember in the video we did, we even said, how can a young teenage boy possibly be in a judicial meeting, talking to a sister of maybe adultery or fornication or, someone who has been abused? How can they possibly be able to handle that? They just do not have the common sense and wisdom, in my humble opinion. So is this a legal liability? And now they have to change it. Because see, it even says if they're already serving, they can stay in that position, which means that there were some younger than 18 that were appointed. Just saying. You all have a great day. Bye.
So you see, that's why I love her, is because she's so direct. She gives you the paragraph, the footnote. She gives you her honest opinion. And she's like, all right, bye. Like, I gave you what you need to know and goodbye. Because this is, and it's so true, but we don't think about this because we're women. So we never really had to carry that burden or even have the dream of, I want to become a ministerial servant and I'm going to do everything in my power once I reach a certain age or something. So how do you feel about what she just said about the footnote and about the changes that they're making and her opinion about the liability?
I agree 100% because when I got reinstated the last time around, the elders I used to have on my judicial committee, like they were no longer a part of the congregation, and one of them had passed away. So there was only one elder from the original committee I had. Yeah. Right. So the 2 new elders that came on, they were basically my age.
There you go.
I had my own opinions on, who they were, and I knew who, the things they would say behind people's backs, and just like their facial manners, how they looked at people, how they treated people. Like, they're young, immature.
Right.
And so when I saw them there, it was really hard, because it's like, how am I going to express myself to these men? And then their replies were so short. Like, do they
Hmm.
understand what they're dealing with? But they're being pushed to take on this responsibility, and they're not even ready, because there's not enough brothers, and they need brothers, and they need men. I don't see that going well, honestly.
Right. And everybody was telling me in the chat how most of them became ministerial servants at 27, 28, late 20s. And then this comment really threw me when Jay said, I remember some ministerial servants being 14 years old. That's way too young. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then Jesse said that Gilbert became one at 18. So you see, and that was in the Spanish congregation. So you see, that's another thing that the Jehovah's Witnesses play. They play that card of like, well, if it's appropriate in your congregation, or if you have a shortage of brothers, then you will need to,
Yeah,
install.
that's basically what it is. Like, the congregation my grandmother Amma,
Mm-hmm,
that she was in, that was upstate New York, in Boyceville.
mm-hmm.
And that congregation, very small, everyone knew each other, and the kids that were there, they basically were born in. And so
Right,
them being ministerial servants and giving talks at, like 10 years old, they were young. And you're looking at them like, wow, I can't
right,
believe it. That's so great. Congratulations. But now when you're looking at it, it's like, they're too young.
right. And that kind of sucks, because we used to be those ones clapping like, oh, look at him, so cute, doing the Bible reading at 7 years old, and now I'm like, I
Hmm.
can't believe that I thought that was okay, or like I
Hmm.
don't know. Yeah, we feel a little weird when I feel a little weird when it comes to that.
Yeah. But I definitely realized that when I finally woke up, I was like, that was definitely one of the things. I was like, I think they named like 4 or 5 new elders.
Wow.
They were all young,
Mm-hmm.
20s. And I was like, and me knowing them, I was like, what is going on right now? Like, I'm looking at the body of elders, and I'm like, half of these people don't even know what the heck they're getting into.
Yep. And I think
And
it's going to be really hard for that generation, because that generation is millennials like us, and then
Mhm.
even the generation Z, Gen Z, where they grew up not knowing what the world looked like without electronics, without a cell phone,
Mhm.
without internet. So that generation of JWs, I'm scared of them. I'm scared. I don't trust them at all.
Hello, they look at you like, oh my God, I am spending an hour here talking about this with this person. Like, that's the look or expression they have on their face.
Right.
You're dealing with people's lives. This is supposed to be a religion.
Right.
There's supposed to be people to that you could come to
Right.
deal with whatever you're struggling with, but it's like you can't even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why when Kim said, notice the footnote, notice the changes that they're making, is because now it's like they're forced to make the changes, because it is a liability issue. And if they didn't do that back then, who knows how many thousands of young men, young boys were put into these positions of leadership or
Yeah.
power that weren't ready for it, that made mistakes, that completely ruined it,
Mm.
like it's also sad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel bad for those men. Maybe they're not awake, maybe they're still in, or maybe they did wake up and they felt taken advantage of, like like how I talk about it. Like I was
Mhm.
forced to go out in service. I was forced to do things because that's what my mother chose. I didn't
Yeah.
choose that. So a lot of people have that religious trauma when it comes to that, because they were kind of abused or forced into serving God, and they have such a bad relationship with spirituality or religion or faith, because
Mhm.
it ruined it for them.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yep, I see everybody in the chat. San Diego says he was 8 when he gave his first reading,
Wow.
and he remembers it. First Samuel 11, 1 through 15. Damn, San Diego. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, San
Oh,
Diego. Oh, that's sick. Hello to Ray in the chat. Welcome. Michelle says Gen X here, best generation ever. Sorry, not sorry. Honestly, I agree. I would trust Gen X rather than Gen Z for some reason. I don't know why. It's just they're just built different. They have different values. They grew up with iPads and phones and, touch screen stuff. They just grew up different, like we are the last generation that saw the transition of the world from the dark ages of like no internet, and then internet where you have all the information at your fingertips. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a different type of person.
yeah.
In my opinion. Oh man, San Diego. He says, my mother was so proud because apparently I memorized it to a point I was giving it in my sleep. I hope that was just a mother boasting.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And they praised that, like my mom, your mom, like they really praised that about us because we were doing things for Jehovah, and we were letting God use us to do his will. And
Mhm.
that's what that meant, was slaving for an organization. Ricky Bobby says, and that's Eric, he says, what changes were made? So basically, in the new handbook, they are actually stating an age that you have to be at least 18 or older to become an MS, a ministerial servant, to then later be appointed elder, so that you can become an elder in your early 20s, so that by the time you're 25, you could become a circuit overseer, because that's what she was saying. She was saying
Right.
that even 25-year-olds are being appointed to a circuit overseer. And for any non-JWs or anybody watching on X who doesn't know what that is even more responsibility and more coverage of an area that one Jehovah's Witness has to cater to 1,000 plus people in that circuit. And then there's district. And then
Mhm.
there's Bethel. So it's like once you start going down lower, more local, the ministerial servant is at the very bottom. So if you ever aspire to become somebody, if you want to become somebody, you got to first become you get baptized, be a ministerial servant, elder, and then all those doors are open to you. So every young man in the Jehovah's Witness organization is looking to that. And I knew a lot of young men who were playing very, dirty politics within the congregation to become the elder's little pet or favorite, and do the errands and do the books. And, there was a lot of like favoritism going on, or a lot of elders were just putting their own sons to become ministerial servants. And it was like a Nepo baby in the JWs. And that was just like another thing, like, oh yeah, that's a given because he's an elder's son or an elder's daughter is definitely going to become a pioneer, or like, don't even try, because the
Mhm.
elders' kids, that's basically for them. They were like the lords. And you'll be like, sorry, my lord. Sorry. And I've been watching a lot of House of Dragon lately. So I've been saying, my lady, my lord, your grace, my king, my queen. Like, yeah, it's crazy. And even the elders' wives, like, oh, it was really bad. Like you could really tell the vibe in a Kingdom Hall. Once you walked in it, the very first thing that status is where people are sitting. So when you first walk into that auditorium, you already know who's who sits where, and where you sit. Okay? You know where you sit. And that
Yeah.
was one of the things where my mom was like, we are sitting second row, right in the middle where the podium is, because she
Mhm.
wanted my eyes on that man and she didn't want my eyes to leave that man.
Oh my God. And that's the spot you don't want to be. You do not want to be.
Exactly. Exactly. So you already knew. First row was
Heck,
off. Nobody sits in the front row.
right.
Second row was for fanatical Jehovah's Witnesses that wanted their kids to pay attention no matter what.
Mhm.
Third row and back, we question your spirituality. B school, you're disfellowshipped, you're disassociated. Don't even bother talking to the people back there. The
Oh my God.
last few rows were people who were trying. They really want to become reactivated. They want to try better. Or all the
Mhm.
families used to really sit back there. If you had babies, you would sit back there. And if you had a nursing baby, you better stay in the bathroom because like, ain't nobody want to hear that baby. Okay. So that's how JW culture really is. Like that's the best way that I can explain it. Yep. W says the note takers. Oh my goodness. Yep. And if you are right in the middle at the like in the belly of the Kingdom Hall, that's where the majority of our either converts or people who were visiting, they sat right in the middle.
Yeah. I
Yep.
know, Mr.
And all of the heads of household sat at the very end, the very first chair of the aisle. So when you would walk there, is every family head, every man was sitting there. If a woman was sitting there, it was like, oh, she's single.
I,
She's single. She's available.
I told you my mom sent me a message that the circuit overseer from, oh my God, 2015, maybe 2014.
Oh yeah. Tell the story. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
So
Okay.
I don't talk to my mom like that at all. And it'll be months, and she'll randomly just text or call.
Mm-hmm.
So she just sent this message and that she was like, "Oh, sister, I think it was Palins, the Palins. Do you remember the Palins?"
I don't remember nobody from New
Oh my
York.
God.
If it wasn't the South Manhattan from when I was a little girl, I don't know nobody.
No, this was probably right after everything
Mm-hmm.
happened. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so she said, brother and sister so and so, they said hi and they reaching out and they just want to make sure everything's okay. And they said how are their kids.
Mm-hmm.
They were basically the people when I was becoming a pioneer.
Oh, okay.
Um, and so I didn't have no kids, I had never been disfellowshipped.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, you're texting me about two people that I don't know, I don't remember, I could care less. When I want to hear from my family, I want to hear how are you doing from you, from my own
Right.
family members. Why would I care about these circuit overseers that I haven't seen in how many years? So, and
Right.
I didn't even respond. I just left it alone because it's like at the end of the day, when I text, "Hey mom, how you doing?" Do they respond? No. So okay, so then I'm not gonna respond either.
Right. But the mere fact that they were circuit overseers was like, I need to pass this message to
Right.
you. The circuit overseer thought
Yeah.
about you.
Jehovah is sending us a message to send to you. As if
Yep.
I was gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, they're thinking about me. Let me come back. Let me start."
Yes. So emotionally trying to reel you back in as if those people actually care about you because they brought you up and said, oh, how's King Tony doing?
Right.
That fake love, that fake interest of how's this one daughter that we haven't seen that we know she's been gone
Right.
forever.
Right.
But Michelle is right. It's her excuse to talk to you without guilt. And I've been telling you that
Oh,
lately.
yeah. My mother-in-law told me that too, and it's hard for me to understand because it's like, I'm trying to respect you, so do you. Don't feel guilty. Why are you treating me this way? And then you want to feel guilty, and then I have to feel sorry that you feel guilty
Right.
for treating me. No.
Yeah, it's a circle that you'll never get out of. It's a loop.
Right. Live your truth. If that's how you really feel, if that's what you really want to do, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you do you.
Yeah. And now that we're talking about the CO, remember when, and everybody, I'm asking King Tony, but also the chat. Do you guys remember when I was doing those live streams about the Jehovah's Witnesses who knocked on my door, and that by chance it was an elder? And back then I thought it was a sign from God. I was like, how is it possible that I just started this YouTube channel? I just started becoming like a real apostate, talking about the religion online, and an elder out of all people knocks on my door? There's got to be Jehovah. Like I was really I was for real, swear to God, I was almost doubting that. And this is why I talk about how recent my real awakening was. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though
Right.
we were awake, it was like
I think we have
very
multiple awakenings. We have multiple
yeah,
awakenings.
exactly. So I was, and it was also during Memorial time. So that was also another sign, like, oh damn, Jesus just died, and elder came. Jehovah's probably talking to me somehow. And he told me that you should really come to the Kingdom Hall because the circuit overseer is here. And as soon as he said that, it punched me in the face and woke me up again. Because I said, like to myself, I said, I'm pouring my heart out to you. I'm telling you the deepest, darkest, crazy, traumatic thing that my mother's doing to me. And I'm asking you why she's doing this as a Christian, so-called Christian. And all you had
Yeah.
to say was, we have the circuit overseer this week. You should come on Sunday to
Like if
meet
there's
him.
some freaking voodoo magician, like they go and say a few words and you're like, oh my God, magically healed. What the
Yeah.
heck?
Yes. Like the circuit overseer will have such great answers for you.
Healing
Just come
powers.
on Sunday and
They're
you'll
the
be
closest
healed.
thing to the governing body.
Yep. Hello, Kelly. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, it was a really crazy time. But that was the very last time that I genuinely gave Jehovah's Witnesses a chance. Like, I really poured my heart. I was tearful. Like, I was really giving it to that elder.
Mhm.
And that was the very last time that I gave them a true chance with an open heart, repentant and everything, that I was willing to listen to what you had to say. And every single time he came, it was a letdown. And I was glad, because I was like, this is a reminder of what it's like to be a
Mhm.
JW. You're always
Yep.
going to be looked over. It doesn't really matter. All they care about is the damn week the CO is visiting, or who just got DF, who just got reinstated. It's like, all you care about is that, but you don't care about the actual person that's going through a spiritual awakening, or
Warfare.
hard.
A freaking, you're basically fighting spiritually within yourself. You're trying to figure out if God is real or not. And you're looking for real, true
Right.
answers from an elder, at least an elder. And the first thing is to go to another person. Oh, you should come to the circuit overseer. He's definitely gonna have answers.
Right. And that was the very first also my very first inquiry into orthodoxy. So I really got to see the difference from these Orthodox Christians and then from the JWs coming to my door. And since I'm born and raised JW, I was so disappointed. Like, damn, the elders back in my day would have not acted the way you just did. And I don't know how long you've been an elder, but this is horrible. Like, even from my own experience, elders are not like this. So this was a real letdown. But that's what gave me the confirmation that this is just an organization. You're just a number to them. You're not really a real person. Whereas in
Right.
orthodoxy, I would go to the meetings, do the Bible study, ask questions, and they would literally sit there with me for 4 hours, all almost till midnight, talking about something and helping me to understand and deconstruct something in real time, and
Mhm.
to put in place whatever I was missing. And it took time and effort and actual care for a person. And that's what really matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Kelly says we have some ex Jehovah's Witnesses coming home into the Catholic faith. I would agree with you, Kelly. But when I was looking into that as well, the only thing that like really stopped me from becoming Catholic in the sense of like Roman Catholic or those types of Catholics was the Pope situation. And I couldn't really accept that because to me it was like the governing body. And then the Pope is just one person instead of 8, it's just one. So that's when I went to Orthodoxy and I recently converted. Cipher says me and my wife sent in a disassociation letter and it was announced earlier this month after waking up a few months ago.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Wow, that's amazing. Him and his wife. That's a blessing
Yeah.
that you got to keep your marriage at least.
Hmm.
Keep your
Yeah.
marriage. Oh my goodness. Oh man, Joe and Fran says we had rotary phones growing up.
Rotary?
Wow. Yeah, the ones that go like that, right? The circle.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to do each number like that. Yeah, grandma got me a phone like that. And it took forever just to dial. By the time I was done, I was like,
phone like that.
yep. Wow, that's so great. Thank you guys for sharing that in the comment section because that actually makes us so happy. Like this is why we do it, to expose these things and to give our opinions for the first time in our lives. Like wow, congratulations.
Wow, that's big.
Yep. Okay, so the next subject that I wanted to get into, and this is a real spider web of news because this man was involved in the convictions that were recently given to the 14 Jehovah's Witnesses that were arrested in Pennsylvania. So we talk about this a lot because the Attorney General in Pennsylvania really cracked down on these pedophiles that have been covered up for so long in those congregations. And so this person has already been convicted. He already got the maximum. He got 20 years for a case of CSA issues that was hidden since the 90s. This woman is, or this person is now in her 30s, late 30s. So I've done videos about this. Vern has done video. Like literally everybody in the XJW community that is a content creator has made videos about the Pennsylvania stuff because it was just a bombshell.
Mm-hmm.
And what was really crazy was the fact that the only reason why we had this information was because somebody broke into a Kingdom Hall, stole the paperwork of all the disfellowshipping, all the notes that they take as elders. They stole the documents and it was called the Palmer leaks. And they shipped it to Mark O'Donnell, who is, an activist in the XW community. And he's been really spearheading all of these, information, the court cases. He was present. He was there. He was gathering information. Whatever people would send him, he was the guy. You know what I mean? And so he was involved in a documentary. If anybody in the chat can please remind me what channel and what documentary he did, because I remember showing the clip or doing like a watch thing, like a reactionary video. And for the life of me, I can't find it. But if anybody can remind me the documentary that he was a part of, that he describes this, I want to do a watch party on Discord so that everybody has the opportunity to watch it again. Or for like King Tony, she hasn't seen it and I want her to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's where that came from because he talked about it in the documentary. And when he got these documents, he sent those documents right back to Pennsylvania to the Attorney General's office. And that's the only reason why these Jehovah's Witnesses that were abusing children in that Kingdom Hall got caught. A so-called apostate was actually taking care of the, trying to carry out whatever justice he could.
Right.
So that's why I appreciate Mark O'Donnell. I know everybody has different opinions about him or like the lawsuit that he's going through right now. That it's his own thing. But that's why I appreciated Mark O'Donnell and his work within the community, because that was his goal. And that's what inspired me too, because that's really all I care about. I don't care about the religion, 100%. I care about the children
Right.
that are forced to become Jehovah's Witnesses like I was, the children that grow up like King Tony, who think this is what they want to do, and they are brainwashed into thinking that. That's who I care about, is the children. So I'm going to play my own video about that case, because there's new developments with this perpetrator. And everything that I have to say in this video, I already said it, so I don't have to repeat myself. So I'm going to play this video for everybody. It's only about 15 minutes, I think. Yeah, 15 minutes.
I'm out.
You can't leave.
You watch me. Deuces.
Do you think for 1 second that jw.org is going to upload on their news section that a former elder has been arrested in Maine for CSA in the 90s? Do you really think that if I show my mom this article or this video of the news, the local news talking about this, that she's going to listen to it, watch it, and say, yeah, Ruby, there is a systemic issue. There is a problem. And I admit that there is a problem. No, that's not what's going to happen. Somebody like my mom is going to say that this is fake news, that these are apostate lies, and that I am spreading misinformation. Or she will go as far as to say that the man-made governments or the local governments, that Satan is in control of these governments or these district attorneys or these judges are controlled by Satan. Okay, I'll take it down a notch. And I will give the benefit of the doubt. And I would say, okay, if she doesn't say those very quick responses when they are given this type of information, what is something that she would probably say if I insist that those things are not the case and that she's reaching too far? That they love to say is that this is just one incident. This is just one brother, one elder who got away with it because they were hiding it. And even if I try to explain, but the elders knew about it. They had the documentation of the abuse. They had the information since 1990s and it's 2024. So what took them so long to report this guy to the police? They never have an answer for that. There is no defending something like this. And Mark O'Donnell, if a Jehovah's Witness looks him up, they're going to be like, oh, this guy's an apostate. But look what he's doing with his time, with his energy. He doesn't have to be doing this, and he's doing it. Thankfully, we got somebody like a Mark O'Donnell doing that. Thankfully, we have other XJW YouTubers making videos and giving us this type of information that would otherwise be buried, because JW.org is not going to report this kind of news, right? They're not. Let me play you the clip of the news, and then I'm going to read Mark O'Donnell's tweets.
A former elder at the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witness in Fort Kent will be serving a 20-year sentence for sexually assaulting 2 children at the church back in the 90s. News Center Maine's Pearl Small has the latest on the hearing that happened today in Aroostook County.
20 years. The maximum sentence that could have been handed down by a judge after Ernest Fyans was convicted in October of last year.
The impact on the victims is just so substantial in this case. Therefore, the court sets the maximum sentence or period of incarceration.
Fyans was an elder, which is one of the highest forms of leadership in a Jehovah's Witness church. And between 1990 and 1992, he sexually assaulted 2 minor girls under the age of 6.
and he committed these terrible crimes against these two women.
Mark O'Donnell is a journalist who's been reporting on sexual assault in Jehovah's Witness churches for 7 years.
The police were never called.
He says he found out about the case through stolen documents that were leaked in 2017.
They went into several congregations and removed documents. Ultimately, they got in touch with me and they sent me the original documents.
That he then gave to the police and set forth proceedings for the case to be prosecuted.
And the jury found that the girls' statements were in harmony, that they were believable, and they found him guilty.
Fines attorney Lynn Madison says he was hoping for a lighter sentence.
He is not happy with the conviction. He's going to be filing for an appeal of the conviction, and he is also not happy with the sentencing, so there will be an appeal filed for the sentencing as well.
But no matter the outcome, O'Donnell says the ruling does more than just decide Fion's future, because it highlights a flaw in the system of the Jehovah's Church, which requires reports of misconduct to be done through their headquarters in New York.
And in 99% of the cases, they are told that you are under no obligation to report this to the authorities.
But when cases like this are uncovered, O'Donnell believes it opens up a path.
This conviction can help lead to additional very serious civil court lawsuits against the Jehovah's Witness Church.
Providing more opportunities for justice.
All of a sudden, you realize that all these people come out of the woodwork.
Pearl Small, News Center, Maine.
So if you caught that in the news segment, he got these documents from the stolen papers that were sent to him from the Kingdom Halls. If you saw my other video that I did a reaction to the documentary that he was doing a couple years ago, he also says it there and he shows it to the journalist in his living room. I will include a card in this video so that you can click there, you can see it, or you can go to my channel, you can see that too. Because these are not just one-off incidents. These are people that have been hiding in the Kingdom Halls, and they know that they are pedophiles. They know who they are, and yet he was an elder for how long? He was accused of this in the 90s. It's super upsetting. Okay, I'm going to go to Twitter now, and I'm going to read Mark O'Donnell's tweets. This is how he broke the news. Superior Court Judge Stephen Nelson has just sentenced former Jehovah's Witness elder Ernest Fyans to the max penalty for crimes of child sexual abuse of minors, 20 years for count 1 and 5 years for count 2. Defendant Fyans invoked Jehovah in his plea to no avail. On September 20th, 2023, a jury in Aroostook County, Maine, found Ernie Fyans guilty of both counts of child abuse. The state was able to prosecute, but hundreds of pages of documents locked inside Jehovah's Witness filing cabinets in several states reveal many more victims. These documents, sometimes referred to as the Palmer leaks of Massachusetts, tells the story of countless JW perpetrators and crimes in the northeastern U.S., most of which are concealed from law enforcement officers, obstructing justice on the claim of clergy privilege. During today's sentencing hearing, victims described the impact of their assaults and rapes at the hands of defendant Fyans, as well as additional members of the Fort Kent, Maine congregation, including elders and abusers. Defendant Fyans was permitted to make a statement in his defense, but denied these events and crimes ever happened, and continued to blame one of his victims for making lying accusations against him, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Fyans also acknowledged that he was sent to multiple congregations to help out, and then continued to blame the victims for being spiritually weak or inactive. In an obvious attempt to diminish the authority of the court, Fyans stated that the real judge is Jehovah, and that Jehovah has been Ernie's judge for 50 years. Fiennes claimed that evidence of Jehovah's backing comes from his survival of 7 heart attacks and 2 strokes. Fiennes continued his rant, claiming that he's still alive because Jehovah, quote, because Jehovah wanted me to be here, despite threats he has received in prison to cut his throat. He further stated he would win his appeal, then will sue his last attorney for giving him his 7th heart attack. Fiennes resumed his tirade, claiming that the attorney he fired just minutes after his guilty verdict in September has mental problems and that he has early Alzheimer's disease and failed to properly defend him. At 10:25 a.m., Judge Nelson took a recess to decide on Fiennes' fate. When he returned, Nelson told the court that mitigating circumstances would not outweigh the aggravating occurrences of this case, and he promptly imposed the maximum sentence on Fiennes. I am very pleased to say that the documents uncovered from multiple congregations have led to the kind of justice that Jehovah's Witnesses have been obstructing for decades because of their harmful internal policies. The criminal prosecution of Fiennes is just the beginning for these brave survivors who may now seek justice in civil courts. Investigators continue to probe the other perpetrators of these crimes, and more victims continue to reach out. I cannot believe that this guy said all of that in court. But does that not show you how delusional these people are? Because they think that the highest authority is Jehovah, right? And that Jehovah uses his elders. So whatever the elders say, whatever the judgment the elders give you, that's the highest authority. Because we don't follow man-made rules, right? We don't follow the Supreme Court. We don't call the police. We do not take our brother to court. The court is the judicial committee, and whatever the elders say goes. Now this guy has to, now this guy faced a real judge and a real verdict, and he doesn't feel like that was right. He had hoped for a lesser sentence and then goes on to blame his victims. These people are delusional. They have never seen real justice. They have been coddled in this cult that allows them to hold a position, a title within the organization, and to help out other congregations, making them feel like they're doing something. Like, oh yeah, we need you. You're such a good brother. You've been an elder for so long, as if that means anything. In the real world, it means nothing. In the real world, you're just a pedophile who has gone unnoticed for decades. And now justice has been served. And he is right. Those threats that you get in prison for hurting little kids, those are one of the types of crimes that you will get beat up in prison. I have no doubt. It don't matter how old you are. Once they find out what you did, you're going to get it. Angry. It makes me angry because this would have happened sooner when the accusations came, and he would have been arrested sooner. But Jehovah's Witnesses probably had his name on that database that they didn't want to give up. And there's a lot of other names on there. And it wasn't just him because he was the elder. Mark O'Donnell's tweet said that there were other abusers as well. So if you already have, a very high person in the congregation, like an elder, committing this abuse, that gives the signal for everybody else to do it too, because no consequences are gonna come to you. He probably protected other pedophiles too. I could only think about these things, like how many other people do you think that he knew was abusing probably the same kids or other kids in the hall, and they didn't do anything about it? Then I'm gonna call the police. But you see, I can't even show somebody like my mom this because they won't even believe it. The organization has has regular Jehovah's Witnesses so brainwashed that they won't even watch this kind of stuff. It's crazy. And I just found out about the whole Pennsylvania situation, and I'm gonna have to do a whole separate video for that one because that is a whole load of information. So stay tuned for the Pennsylvania video of more Jehovah's Witnesses getting arrested. I want to thank you for watching. Please share these types of videos amongst anybody who would watch it if they're Jehovah's Witnesses or ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that are in this state. I think it's really important that we should start having a list. I think avoidjw.org has a list as well. So I'm going to link it. I'm going to link the news article, and you could definitely follow Mark on Twitter. This is how breaking news comes out, and this is why I want to do it in this form, because more people need to watch this. You need to hear it. You need to see it, because jw.org is not going to put this on their news section. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Okay. So that was my video that I wanted to play for you guys because I think I said it so well. I make myself crack up sometimes. I explained it so well. I don't even have to repeat myself. So you guys already saw him. His name is Ernest Fyans. He got the maximum. This is in Pennsylvania. And then now, breaking news, January 2024, this man is coming up in another lawsuit. So I'm going to bring up this post, and this is how I found out about it on X. JB posted it on X, which gave us a Reddit post, and I'm going to show you the Reddit post here now. Oh, and I think he was sentenced for life. So I think it's 20 to life, I think, because in the news that we just saw, I thought they said 20. But here it says, you know, JW, who was sentenced for life in prison, is addressed in another victim's story. And I just saw, I think it was Thrifty in the comments, she said there was probably more than one. And I agree, like I said in the video, he probably even covered for other pedophiles that were either abusing the same kids or other kids in the same congregation. So I'm going to read this Reddit post. It says, Ernest Fyans, a former elder of the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses in Fort Kent, Maine, was convicted in September 2023 of gross sexual assault and unlawful sexual contact involving 2 JW children under the age of 12 during the early 1990s. One of the victims reported the abuse in 2002 at the age of 16, but at that time, the statute of limitations prevented persecution. Maine has since removed the statute of limitations for prosecuting sex crimes, allowing the case to be revisited in 2020, leading to Fyans' indictment in 2021. Okay, so there's one distinction, that this is a guy, JW from Maine, and those other cases in PA are very similar to this, but the whole PA situation was different. So this is Maine we're talking about. It says in February 2024, Fyans was sentenced to 20 years for these offenses. Now in January 2025, Shannon S. filed a lawsuit against the Fort Kent congregations and the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, saying that she was sexually assaulted by Ernest Fyans and 2 other congregation members between 1985 and 1993, starting when she was only 6 years old. Shannon S. had previously testified against Fyans in his criminal trial in 2023. Now it's her turn, deciding to bring a lawsuit against Fyans as well, now in his 80s. Shannon S. mentions in one of the articles, quote, I never put anything that happened behind me. It was always there. I had to suppress my feelings to function. You weren't allowed to bring up abuse in the organization. You had to keep quiet to move along like it never happened, end quote. A JW spokesperson responded to the media in an email regarding Shannon's case. And they said, quote, we empathize with all victims of abuse, but it would be inappropriate for us to comment on the particulars of any litigation. As Christians, our love of God and our neighbor motivates us to hate all forms of abuse, end quote. And then here goes the links. So I'm going to share the Reddit post so that everybody can click on those links themselves and read the article, because it literally was just reported on that now Shannon S. is coming forward with her own lawsuit. And if you remember, like, what he was convicted for was 1993 onward. She's even taking it back from 1985
Wow.
So that's what, even in the video, I was thinking, like, how long you think this guy has been an elder? How long you think that he's been in a position of power and trust, that he's
Mhm.
been abusing these children? And
Yeah.
that's the scary part, because some states do not have the mandatory reporting laws that we want to change. But if you're the elder, you're not going to report on yourself.
No.
So you see where it kind of gets blurry once again. And that's why I feel like if you are the parent,
Also, they have blackmail on each other,
exactly, that's a good point.
you know?
Yep.
It's
So
crazy.
so it's like hard, either way you look at it, it's so hard. Like, who reports who? Who's mandated to go to which department? Or do you go to the police, or does the parents go, or like whose fault? It's like you start trying to blame people and trying to put some sort of accountability, because the crime already happened. You know what I'm saying? So somebody has to be brought to justice. I don't care if he was an elder, or if he's now ex, like removed Jehovah's Witness, that he's no longer a witness, therefore that's not our problem. I always talk about that when we talk about these types of cases. So I think this is a good thing, what Shannon S is doing. Even though he's already in prison, she's still going after him, and in turn going after Watchtower. I
Yeah.
do hope it goes to trial. I hope that she gets everything that she needs and more. Everything that she wants and needs plus
I
more.
saw the comment you posted on X that you said something to the effect like, is this legal or is this right? Like for priests to not or to like use that law that they cannot report to the authority like a confession or something like that.
Yep.
And then someone replied, are you able to
Mhm.
pull it up or no?
I can. So um let's see if I could actually find it. Replies. So I came across this in the Orthodox community on X. And the original tweet is saying something to the effect of, like, this bill will never pass, but if there was ever any doubt that the Democratic Party is incompatible with orthodoxy, here is more evidence. And then he links something about Montana. And we know a little bit about Montana. I don't know why I say Montana the way I do, but that's just the way I pronounce it. Sorry, guys. and I annoy myself with it too, but the JWs already had a case in Montana with CSA issues. So when we talk about changing laws and to legislate mandating reporting, we talked about it in for Washington State recently in a previous stream. This is why, is because when nobody is mandated to report, they're not going to report because they
Right.
don't have to.
Right.
It's morally wrong, yeah, in my opinion. If you're a Christian, you should go regardless, whether or not a law is telling you that you have to. Because under God's eyes, if a child is being harmed, it is your job as a spiritual, leader or priest or elder in that position. So, but you see, this article, when you click on it, it's more about pressing charges on a priest if he doesn't
Right.
report. And so that's where there's a fine line that you kind of cross with religion and freedom of religion and canon law versus secular law. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could get really messy. So I
Yeah,
understand.
in my opinion, if someone can come to a priest and be forgiven and their slate is clean,
Hmm.
then what's to stop them from continuing?
That's my question.
There's no real penalization for them. Like, what punishment are they getting? How are they being disciplined? What are the churches instituting? What policies do they have to control access to whatever their weakness or sin is? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be like, oh, they're forgiven by God and then let them run freely. Like, that's crazy.
Right. So this is my question. I said, can somebody please explain this to me? Because I hold the opinion that this is a good thing when it comes to covering up abuse. Because if there's something in place that says, well, you need to be mandated to report, and if you don't, then there's consequences. But I do understand the other side of the coin about the reason for confession and the confidentiality and things like that. And most of the comments that I got from this tweet was something to the effect of, well, if you start penalizing that about confessions and crimes or whatever, then nobody is actually going to really confess their crime because they know that they're going to be automatically arrested or whatever. Like, they're not going to be honest. So I get that. But you see, that's why, in my opinion,
yeah, but one of the comments, they compared it to the confidentiality between your physician, your doctor, and you.
there you go, right?
Just like you responded, like they're required,
Mm-hmm.
like mandatory. You have to report that to the authorities if you find out there's any type of child abuse or neglect or any type of violence going on. So they have something in place. But with you guys, it's like, okay, they were forgiven by God, but what do you have in place to protect the children and to protect the victims?
Right. So, for example, if something were to happen like it did in the Catholic, there was a Catholic scandal with CSA. It's like, okay, they acknowledge it, they made changes. You see what I'm saying? They made policy changes or they did something to rectify that because there was a lot of cover up going on. So my question is, what is the Orthodox stance on that? If a priest finds out that somebody killed somebody or they raped somebody or they, like a real serious crime, what are they to do?
Right.
So the response that I got so far, and I'm not 100%, concrete on this. I mean, I would ask my own priest as well. But what I've heard on the internet so far is that if they do come across something like that, the priest would do it on his own. Like it is a moral, ethical thing that the priest would do himself. He doesn't need a law to tell him to do that, which I agree with that. You shouldn't.
Can you repeat that? What do you mean?
That the priest has the authority to give you like penance, right? He gives you the consequence of
okay, yes.
And that's the spiritual side of it, right? But
Right.
in the secular side of it, the priest doesn't need a law to tell him to report a serious crime if he heard it in a confession. Like, you could give an anonymous tip and say, so and so, you found out, yada yada, and then the law will take care of it. They'll do their job. So I do agree with that.
I mean, if you think about it, back in the days, like if there was infidelity or any type of sin, they were brought to the center, and the whole town was there to see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The punishment was dealt with, whether it was rocks being thrown or you were hanged or whatever it was for everyone to see so that they could learn.
Right.
What you don't
consequences. Right. And make an example. Yeah.
Will reap the consequences. But what consequences are they reaping? And that's my point. What do you have in place?
So this is a good comment from Steen, because this is also what the Orthodox community online has been telling me. They can also encourage the perpetrator to hand themselves in for the sake of their eternal soul. And that's for believers, obviously, right? So if you would go to your priest and tell him something of that nature, then you're going because you're repentant, you're sorry for what you did, and you are going to accept the consequence of your actions. Or else you would have never gone to a priest to begin with to confess it. You see what I'm saying? So I understand that part as well, because the priest that's exactly what he's going to tell you. He's going to tell you got to turn yourself in.
Right. But even remember the movie, the Christ movie, right? The Jews, they had their issue with Jesus Christ, their own personal vendetta against him. And who did they bring it to? Right? They discussed it amongst themselves and they were like, yeah, this guy needs to die. They brought it to Pilate, Pontius Pilate. That's his name.
Yeah, he was like the governor or something.
Right. So they
Mhm.
they still had to bring it to whatever government was there.
There
to
you go.
execute
Yeah.
it. So like, what are you trying to say? That you can't take it to the authorities? That's what they did back in the day. So you're trying to
Well,
get an excuse for what?
I think that's a good point because they're not saying that they can't. What they're saying is that you shouldn't make a law penalizing priests if in a situation like that they don't break the confidentiality. You understand? So that is protected.
I don't
That
know how
space
I
is
feel.
protected. Okay,
I
so
don't know how
we're
I
gonna
feel
have to
about
talk
it.
about this offline because this is gonna be
Yeah.
a long conversation,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I don't want to keep everybody here for too long.
Oh my
But
God.
basically, like
Yeah.
the doctor situation, if you bring your kid to the doctor, they are mandated to call CPS if they see bruises or child abuse. That
Right.
was an example that I gave.
Right.
So it would be, ethically and morally the duty and responsibility of the doctor to go to CPS. Now, what
Right.
if the doctor doesn't do it, right? Are they going to get penalized for not reporting? So that's one thing. They also
Mhm.
gave me the example about a lawyer. Would you penalize a lawyer if he doesn't break his confidentiality with his client? There's laws that protect that because it's a safe place for the client and the lawyer to talk. And that's another scenario with a priest and a parishioner. They have that confidentiality to confess and whatever. The priest is already in that position because he understands his job and the moral and ethic. Once again, the thing to do is to tell the person to turn themselves in, and if the priest wants to do so in his own time, as a citizen, he can go to the local authorities and do that, and that's most likely what they would do. Now, if a priest doesn't do that, then that's when something's wrong with either the priest or the institution, organization, whatever you want to call it, elder, spiritual leader. That's when that something is seriously wrong, and God is not there, in my opinion, right? Like the Holy Spirit is not there when these cover-ups happen.
Right.
And that's my indicator of this is the cult, or
Right.
this is something that I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's evil, it's demonic, it's satanic, and it's just evil. So, that's just the best way I can explain it right now with the information that I have right now from that tweet. And I'm also going to talk to my priest as well and ask him.
Yeah.
So we will update that in the future. I do know that Jimmy went live at 10:30 because he's doing an update about this letter writing campaign that he wants to start. And I was going to play his video from yesterday about it. So if anybody wants to let Jimmy know, I will send him an invite to this live, even though it's not an open live. But if he wants to join here when he's done with his own live. So if anybody can let me know, is he still live? But I'm going to send him a DM if he wants to join us. If you want to join us after your live, to mention it. Okay, so if anybody could let him know on his live chat, if he's still live, let him know that I just DM'd him so that when he ends, he can jump over here because I still want to play his video, because what he said in the very first introduction of his video was amazing. So let me go get his video real quick. And oh yeah, he is live. I'm on his channel now. Oh, this is weird, right? Okay, so it's a 6-minute video. I'm gonna play it really quick, then we can talk about it, and then hopefully if he ends with enough time before we end, maybe he'll join us. I don't know.
All
Okay.
right.
So we're gonna play Jimmy.
Tonight, I wanted to jump on here real quick. This is not going to be a long video, but I have an idea of something I think that we all need to do. I'll just wait a second. I'll wait for some folks to come on. Look, you hadn't heard from me for about 2 months, 2-3 months on Facebook, and here I am. This is what, the 4th or 5th video I've done this week. So I'm just waiting for some folks to jump on here real quick. I don't
love
have
his
anybody
hat.
coming
You
on
saw the
camera
hat?
tonight, but I'll just go ahead and start and let you guys know that in 2019, when I was busy doing the roundtable shows and heavy in the activism in the XJW community, one thing that I did do is I did write a letter to President Trump at the White House, explaining my experience with Watchtower and how I felt like they needed to be investigated for child abuse and also child trafficking. Um, Now, I know that a lot of people will maybe scoff at that, but I do believe that the white hat military does have Watchtower in their crosshairs. I do believe that. And there's been so many different changes in Watchtower. They are being forced into a corner and they are panicking. And we can tell that they're panicking because they've been making a lot of changes, doctrinal changes, and trying to, for lack of better words, try to soften their look to attract people into that organization. Now, as I have said many times before, I am nowhere near interested in talking about Watchtower doctrine. I'm pretty much done doing videos about that. But here I have an idea that I think if we all do it, it may have some impact. I'm not saying it's going to 100% solve all the problems, but it could have an impact. Do you remember when Watchtower wanted to send a letter campaign to Russia and Vladimir Putin and talking about how good Watchtower is and all that? Okay. Well, one thing that I have learned through this information war and how Trump operates is he uses the deep state's playbook against them. Why don't we do the same thing against Watchtower? Why don't we as XJWs, instead of, going on all these different shows and, staying in our little bubble, why don't we all get out of that bubble and write letters explaining our experiences that we've had with Watchtower, whether it's been child abuse or if you've been involved or you were a victim of child trafficking in the organization, or that there is illegal corruption monetarily going on in a congregation. And I'm not just talking about the United States, I'm talking about worldwide. We go big. We go big. Why don't we write letters and then flood the White House? Write letters to President Trump and flood the White House with all these letters from the XJW community. Why don't we do that? Because if my intuition tells me that the white hat military has Watchtower in its crosshairs, then they need to know that they have public support for what they may be doing. I can't say for a fact because I don't know, but I have a hunch. So I think we need to start a letter campaign and send it to Trump at the White House. I think it will have some sort of impact. At least if they get all these letters coming in from XJWs, then it will wake somebody up. It'll get somebody's attention. And maybe on the envelope when you send it in, just put on there exposing Watchtower on the envelope and then write your letter. I think that would be something that would be good. Hey, it's worth a shot, right? If we don't, you miss every shot you don't take. So why don't we do that? So that's just my thought. There's no template or anything. Just give your experience, share your story, and spread this around. Get people to think about this. If you need help writing a letter, let me know. I know that I've already got several people that are willing to help. And I think this would be a good thing. We are in some very interesting times right now. And why don't we just make it a little bit more interesting and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Pin Watchtower down even more. So that's my idea. That's my thought. Y'all can express how you feel in the comments, but I think this is something that needs to be done. So anyway, that's what I have. I didn't even see anything in the live chat. I guess it's not even working. But I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Let me know your thoughts on this. And I'm sure I'll present this to Ruby when we're doing our show on Tuesday night and get this out there, because I think we need to flood the White House with letters about Watchtower. It will grab people's attention. Anyway, I love you all. Take care. Talk to you later.
All right, man. That was a great video and great suggestion. How do you feel about that, King Tony?
I feel like that's a great idea. That's basically, yeah, like we should do our own letter writing.
Okay, so he just texted me that he finished his live and to run that live as well. So we'll do it. But before I show what he just said, and I did send him a link, so maybe he might join. I don't know. But he called me. He called. Was it today? Yeah, he called me today, right? No, but oh wait. Let me pause. Rewind. He called me a few days ago, right? And you know, I just got this new phone, right? So I didn't have Jimmy's number saved, and I didn't even think about that, right? So I see this number from North Carolina call me, and I answered it quickly because you know, Kimberly is going. My family's going through a lot because of Kimberly. So I answered it immediately, and he goes, "Hey, Ruby, what you doing?" And I was like, "Who's this?" Like, how you? I was like scared, right? Like, how you know my name and why you asking me what I'm doing? Yeah. So he was like, "It's Jimmy Bell," and I was like, So that's when we got to talking, and that's how when he invited me on his live the other night. So if anybody saw that live, it was more on the political side. But then he called me today and he told me about this letter writing thing, and then I saw this video, and I was like, definitely 100%. I have been waiting for this moment, because if you guys remember back in the day, a few weeks ago, we ran the video of XJW Caleb, and he's in Mexico, and he had this whole website already up and running on what to do in Mexico and the United States of America to start printing these templates, these letters, sign something, write something personal, and demand local representatives to listen to your grievances or a case or whatever. And so since we have enough evidence with the Australian Royal Commission, the thing in Norway, there was a British inquiry, there was the thing in Spain, there's a whole coalition in Spain going on. They finally got the JWs to be considered a sect and not a religion anymore in Spain. So we're moving in the right direction. Now we need to find out how we can do that in the United States while still protecting the First Amendment.
Yeah.
So I was telling Jimmy, I've been waiting for this moment because the Jehovah's Witnesses have been hiding behind the First Amendment, disguising themselves as a religion so that they can do whatever they want. And if you try to persecute them, they say, "Oh, you're religious. You're persecuting my religion. This is my religion. This is what I believe in," right? So we have to tread very carefully when we're trying to take down Watchtower legally, because they have a lot of money. Okay, they have billions, and we're nobodies with nothing. You know what I'm saying? So we need an army of apostates, the apostate army, to either go in protest in mass, which they did with the brief free protest in front of the White House, and the other, that's what they're called, the vast apostate army. That's the group that I was telling you. They did the protest in 2017 in front of Warwick.
Okay.
So that's what we need to do. We need to band together and do something that all of us go together at the front line, where we can't be ignored. The media takes notice, or they can be notified that we're going to be there. Like, we need to start doing things to show the strength. So this letter writing thing is something like considered small in comparison to what other
about this though. This is months ago though. Do you remember? I don't remember his name though. He came on. the live and he started talking. He was like, you know, what can you do? What can we do to get together and like really bring this out, this message out loud?
Mhm.
But the point is, as long as we're on the same page and everyone's willing to, you know, it's basically you're giving yourself a voice. You're saying your story, and it's
Right.
better to do it together than separately.
Right. And a letter is much easier than flying all the way to Warwick and protesting, or flying all the way to DC and protesting. You know, some people really can't do that. For
Mhm.
me, example, I can't just fly out whenever I want to do a protest. I have to focus more locally. So
Right.
I would focus on my local representatives, my local city hall, my Capitol building, the governor's office, the attorney general's office. Those are the places where I would send my letters, and I would also send it to the White House. But I do think, like I told Jimmy, more local is my thing. I want to meet my representatives in person. I want to talk to them. I want to give them my story, or give them like a little folder of something, like a little package, and be like, this is all the information you need, all the proof you need to know how dangerous this cult is and the abuses that they're doing, and that
Right.
their 501c3 is revoked, that their status as a religion is revoked. And we can only do that if all of us in our different states
Right.
come together.
Yeah.
And so XJW Caleb was doing that in Mexico. And I know Mexico's different, but at least he was doing something. Like I always say, at least somebody's doing something.
Yeah.
And if anybody remembers when I was promoting Slavika's Zooms, she's in Canada, and she was doing a Zoom thing every Saturday. And I was only able to like join twice. But I already got the you know, the vibes and the feelings of what she really wanted to do. And I'm like, yeah, but you're in Canada, we're Americans, and America's very different. You know, it's really hard. And it would have to take a team of people. I can't really do this myself. What I can do is I can share it. I can share it through my X followers, my, you know, YouTube. I can promote the message, but I cannot be the leader of it. I just don't have the time or the energy, but I can help behind the scenes. So that's exactly when Jimmy called me and he was describing all the behind the scenes. I was like, yes, let's do it. I will help you from my desk, my computer. I am home all day long. I have all the time in the world. I just cannot be, you know, all over the place. So yeah, I think Slavika would be really happy if she ever comes across this live, or if she still does the Zooms. If anybody could reach out, I think I do have her email, so I'll email her. But Jimmy's finally going to start this, and so I'm gonna play his live. He said to play the live that he just did, so I'll play it. Hopefully it starts. Still loading. All right, while that's loading, I'm gonna say hello. Can you see the chat, Tony?
Yeah.
Can you scroll the chat? Okay, got it.
You see it?
Yes. Okay, got it. Got the video. Okay, guys, sorry for the slight delay. We'll play it now.
Hope everyone is having a wonderful Friday night. Hope you had a good day at work or home or whatever you do. Hope you had a wonderful day. Hope you got some good plans for the weekend. I think I got my granddaughter coming over tomorrow night to spend the night with us. So looking forward to that. So I'm just going to wait about 30 seconds before I get into tonight's discussion. It's good to see everyone again back on Facebook. I'm so glad I'm back on Facebook. 172-day hiatus, but I'm back. It's been a pretty cool week. Happy week to be a patriot. I'm just saying. I'm going to address that in a second. So,
Jimmy's hilarious.
All right, so I'll go ahead and get started, and I guess people will come on as they come on. Thank you, Mrs. So Much More. Thanks for the welcome back. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so with me saying thank you. So last night, I did my first video about the idea of having this letter writing campaign and sending it to President Trump. Now, first thing I want to do is I want to say there were quite a few people that were really excited about this idea. They jumped on board. They're willing to help. They want to be a part of this. And for each one of you, I want to say thank you so much for being on board with what we're getting ready to do. I also want to give a shout out to the ones that gave us suggestions on different things that we could talk about and pick out, because there's a lot of stuff we could talk about, but we want to make this very concise, direct, and to the point. And so I'm going to address that here in a second as well. Now, there's also, I had a few that were like, oh, what do you think this is going to accomplish? This seems like a waste of time. Do you think President Trump's even going to listen to a bunch of little apostates? You know, I had those comments, which that's fine. I don't care. I can handle those. Hey, Jimmy and Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Sherry. But I can handle those type of comments. It doesn't bother me. There's going to be folks that are not going to be on board with this, and that's fine. I don't care. I said in one of my comments that I'm looking for lions and not sheep. And I'm dead serious when I say that. I want people to get on board who have something inside them saying, hey, you know what? Maybe I should do that too. If that's not inside you, fine. Don't participate. I don't care. If you come at me and say, oh, you're just being stupid, blah, blah, blah. Let's just say, if you don't know how Generation X reacts to people, try that stuff. So if you're not on board with this, there's even really no need for you to even comment. I don't care.
Right.
So I'm just putting that out there because I'm not playing games. I'm tired of these whiny people always being negative, and I don't subscribe to that. I'm on a mission, and I won't be stopped. The team that I've created is on a mission, and we won't be stopped. So no matter how many negative comments, or even if any YouTubers get a hold of this stuff and start making videos, I don't care. All right, you go do you. We'll do us. So anyway, that's my little rant for this evening. All right. So first thing I want to announce is I do have a team. It consists of several people. I am not going to be divulging their names. And the reason I'm not going to divulge their names is because they have agreed and I have been willing to be the front man of this operation. That way they don't have to deal with any attacks from others, and they can just focus on the work that we are trying to accomplish. So I will be the spokesperson for this operation. And I call it an operation for a reason, because we have named what we're calling this.
Thank you.
And we are calling it Operation Spotlight.
Operation Spotlight.
Operation Spotlight. Because what we are trying to do is put a spotlight on Watchtower. And so when the letters do go out, when you send it out, go ahead and write on the envelope. I said something about it last night, but this time we're going to write on the outside of the envelope, Operation Spotlight. So could you imagine if 500 letters or 1,000 letters showed up at the White House and you got all these envelopes that say Operation Spotlight?
Yeah.
They're going to open it up and find out what it is.
Right.
Okay. So
even if just one person reads
that's
it,
going to be the
that's
name.
what matters.
I'm also going to create an email address, operationspotlight@yahoo.com. I'm going to create that this weekend. So if we do get any communication back from what we sent, the information will go there. If anybody wants to, send us information as far as letters or, some things that they feel that could be sent on, but folks will have that email address as well. And I will let you guys know when I get that operational. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to call the White House on Monday and find out exactly what needs to be put on the envelope to be able to reach President Trump's desk. You don't know where things get to or whatever, but I'm just going to double check so I know exactly where it needs to go. The other thing is we already do have an alliance forming throughout the world. We have folks in Spain, Vienna. We have folks in Australia. We have folks down in Argentina. They're excited. They're ready to go. So what we're going to do is when we send out the template, then
apostates,
once it goes
assemble.
out, the folks in other countries, they can either
worldwide
keep it as it is, sign their name, whatever, or they can translate it into their language and send it to other folks. And then all of these letters, even from other countries, they're going to go to President Trump. So that's what we're going to do with that. Now, I want to address something that somebody said in the comments about Trump not. Why do you think he's going to listen? Why do you think he's going to listen to you guys? Well, for the outline that we have, I think it will grab his attention. But before I say what the outline is, let me share a story with you. Back in the 1990s, I started my career in the insurance business working in Robinson County, North Carolina. Consists of Lumberton, North Carolina, Pembroke, and a few other little cities. It's a very poor county. It's actually the poorest county in North Carolina. Well, there's a group of people down there called the Lumbee Indians. And the Lumbee Indians, great people. They have been trying for decades to be recognized by the federal government as an actual legit Native American Indian tribe. They have been fighting that for a very, very long time, and no one helped them. Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Obama, none of those presidents would help the Lumbee Indians be recognized. Now, I'll go ahead and let you know that the number of people that are Lumbee Indians is less than the amount of apostates we have around the world. If you want XJWs, whatever. It's a smaller group.
Wow.
The reason I say that is because President Trump did listen to these people. He heard what their case was, and he signed an executive order yesterday where the federal government is now going to recognize the Lumbee Indians as a Native American tribe.
Wow.
That is huge.
Exactly.
And it's amazing because these people spoke out for so long and no one listened to them. President Trump did. And that's the other thing that this letter writing campaign will do as well. Your voice was stifled while you were in Watchtower. Your voice has been stifled even if you've come out and you speak about things that are not popular in the media, in the news. There's censorship. Your voices have been censored. Hello, 172 days off of Facebook, banned. So what this is doing and what Trump has done, like him or not, he's given people their voice back.
Right.
So that's why I don't care what someone says about this, because I'm going to use my voice, and I'm going to use my voice in a way that I think will be effective and that I think will help. Now, will this work? Will Trump see it? Will we see some changes at a federal level? I don't know. I don't know. It could fall completely flat and nothing come of it. I know that. But what if it doesn't? What if something good comes out of it?
Yeah.
And for all the naysayers, and I've said this before, if we're not going to do anything, or if you're not going to do something, then you're doing nothing. And I don't want to do nothing. I want to do something. So that's why we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. So here is what we decided as a team. There's 3 different categories that we're going to focus on in this letter. And this is what will be in the template that will get sent out to everybody. Now, when we do send it out, I do have a couple of other folks. I'm not going to announce who they are right now. But I do have a couple of other folks out there that are willing, once the PDF is created, to have them get it sent out through like a Dropbox or whatever, because I don't know how to do all that crap. So I delegate. I delegate. So it works out pretty well. So they said they would do it. I'll make that announcement later. If you want to keep up with these announcements, like and subscribe so you'll get a notification to when I go live with this stuff. Okay, so here are the 3 different things, and there's a reason why we chose these 3. One thing that I know about President Trump is he's all about people having their rights, constitutional rights. Number 2, he has been doing a lot of stuff, has done a lot of stuff with protecting children. Go look at the number of human trafficking arrests that happened during his first term.
Yep.
And then the other thing is when it comes to money, he's all about saving money and making sure that the money is not being wasted, that the taxpayer money is not being wasted. And he wants to just, he's a money guy. So he's going to understand some of these things. So the first topic is we are going to create a section to focus on the removal of the rights from the people. And we're going to go into a little bit of detail of what that means. Now, the other reason we've chosen these 3 categories is it has nothing to do with religion, has nothing to do with doctrine. So someone can't say, oh, this is just a religious thing. Okay. No, has nothing to do with religion. We're focusing on key points that bypass the religious defense, if you want to say. We're basically countering what they would argue. So 1, focus on the removal of basic human rights from the people. We're going to give examples of that. Number 2, we're going to address the child sexual abuse issues and how Watchtower is protecting pedophilia.
Yeah.
And we do have documentation. We have plenty of court cases we can cite. We have examples that we can put in there. And
I got my own uncle up in there.
The third thing we're going to talk about or address in this letter will be questioning Watchtower's 501(c) status.
Hey, there you go. Right
And
there.
we have some really good stuff to go into that category. So, human rights, basic human rights, CSA, protecting the kids, and the 501(c)(3) status stuff. These are things that should get President Trump's attention because these are things that he's fought for before.
Exactly.
So we really thought we had different things we could come up with, but we picked these three. Now, there is a very good possibility that there could be follow-up operations, follow-up letters, because one of the folks I'm working with has a lot of information, and they're good people. It's probably nobody anybody knows, but they're good people, and they just want to see this stuff get out. So I'm excited about that. So it's going to probably take them about a week they asked to have about a week to get the letter, written up. So I'll give them a week to do that. And then once it's done and I look at it and it looks ready to go, that's when we'll drop it into a PDF file. You guys will have it, and then we can send it out. And hopefully it's within a week, because I'd like to do a deadline to where we get all these letters sent out by March 1st. Have them all at the White House by March 1st, or up till March 1st, whatever. That way, if you put a deadline on something, more than likely people will go ahead and get it done most of the time. If I didn't put a deadline on it, somebody would say, well, it's July and I just sent it out. Oh my God. Okay. I want it to be an influx. I want it to have an impact. So that's why it makes more of an impact in a shorter period of time than dragging it out. Let's see. Let me see if I missed anything. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to run a couple polls on the community notes on my YouTube channel, to where I'm probably going to run one to just kind of get some feedback to see if you're on board or not. Like I said, if you're not, I don't care. I don't care. I'm just wanting people that are willing to do something. I'm also going to do another poll to where if you are participating in this, I want to know what area of the world you're in. Are you in Europe? Are you in Australia, South America? What I kind of want to know. It's just a little bit of feedback.
Right.
So it'll help us know whether or not we've been, getting our message out and that it's been effective. So that's kind of the update right now. That is our plan. And let me grab my phone and scroll through the comments and see if there's anything. Sorry to get my big old head. Let's see here. Oh, Lord. I don't even know where I need to go back to. Okay. That's a good JW. With some letters to Russia. I'll be back if you're still on after Ruby's finishes. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about this stuff more on Ruby's channel on Tuesday night.
Oh, yes, we are. Oh, yes.
Oh, here's the other thing I thought about too. And I almost forgot to tell you guys this. This is the other thing I want to do. We're going to have the template, and there will be something in there to where you'll be able to sign off on it and say, hey, yes, I agree with this petition or this letter, blah, blah, blah. There'll be a way to do that. But if you feel moved to and inclined to, go ahead and write your own letter. Tell of your experience. Elaborate on one of the three things that we put in the template. And just put that together with the template and send it all. Just write the letter. Do it on your own. And that way, for those that want to, because I've had people say, well, Jimmy, can we write our own letter and send it in? Sure. But let's go ahead and add it to the template as well. So that'll be cool. All right. Sorry about that. Let me go back to
that's
these.
why if you title it like
Anybody have any
Operation
questions?
Spotlight, it'll be grouped together as, oh, this is this. It's not just like some random letter coming in.
Give it a go here. Say it's important for at least we tried. At least we're trying something, right? Position with 1,000 signatures, like 10 letters from past U.S. presidents, but lost them. Oh, cool. Ooh, Team XGW. Not lost them, got them destroyed. Jimmy, he will reply back, or his staff. That would be cool if they did. That would be cool. United Front. I do not get why JW cover things up. Watchtowers North 2 they changed in year 2000. All right, we'll double. I'll look into that, Jane. Yep, here's a new letter. Awesome. Ruby just DM'd me. Well, Ruby, I'm doing a live right now. I'll take the DM. So anyway, okay. So what I'd like to know, go ahead and put in the comments what you think about this idea. If you like this idea, please share this video and get it out, because she has you on her channel now. Oh, well, I did not know that. So hello, Ruby, and hello, all her viewers right now. I appreciate you. Ruby, I'm going to tell you something right now. I can't see you or anything, but get this. I was watching your channel about 10:15, and I almost sent you a message to say, hey, I'm going live at 10:30. Why don't you go ahead and stream me on your channel? I was going to ask you, but I thought, no, that's her doing her thing. Let her do her thing. It's not my place to. So, but hey, we're thinking alike. That's kind of cool. I can donate postage money. Jane, I appreciate that, but I don't think anybody's going to need to donate anything. I mean, a stamp is what, 60 some cent? And
Yeah.
if you don't have a stamp, then you can send me your information and I'll mail it all for you. I don't care. It won't be no problem. So we're not going to take any money for this. This is all going to be, this is what you call a grassroots movement.
Yes.
This is what you call
and
this.
I love those types of things.
It's been a long time since there's been anything done like this to focus on Watchtower that I know of.
Operation
So,
Spotlight.
Is what, 78 cents?
That's
How much
exciting.
is stamps? I don't even know. I just go in and I get a book of stamps and then I pay whatever it is. It is what it is, right? Hey, y'all remember the shirt?
Apostate.
Look at us.
Apostate.
Taking down the Watchtower. So, anyway, but like I said, the whole mission here, the whole goal is to shine the spotlight, and hopefully Trump will read the letter, and you never know what may happen. You just don't know.
Yeah.
But if we don't do anything, then we know nothing will be accomplished.
Right.
So we're going to do this. All right. How about an electronic petition? I want to go more personal with letters. Yeah, I think this will mean more. This, instead of an online petition or something like that, I think this will mean more, and it will be visual. Because if you have a bunch of letters going in to the White House, it will get noticed.
Right.
There's no question. It will get noticed. And that's all we want. Right?
Yep.
So
Anybody, I don't
my
care
other
who you
thinking
are.
is, like I said last night, is if the White Hat military is working behind the scenes already and taking care of not only Watchtower, but some other 501(c)(3)s and other corporations out there that disguise themselves as religions, then they will know that there is public support for what they're doing. And that's huge. So anyway, all right. You can mail a 10-page letter on a single stamp. Mormons did and got in big trouble. No. Okay. All right, guys. Well, hey, I appreciate you tuning in. If you like this, please get this out. Please get this information out. I would love to see at least 2,000 letters go in. And I think we can do that.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's not going to take much of your time. It's going to be real easy. So,
Yeah.
all right. I love you all very much. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. And don't forget about Tuesday night, 9 o'clock on Ruby Quinn's channel for the XJW Political Corner.
Yes.
Love you guys. Take care.
Woo! Applause in the chat for Jimmy. That was amazing. I love the idea. I love that he's gonna spearhead it. He's got the ideas and everything. I was like, let me know what you need. I will do it from my computer. I got the time, and we'll all do it at the same exact time. And I wanted to do this because when I talked about it with Caleb and him doing it in Mexico, he's just one guy. Imagine if a whole bunch of XJWs, especially on Reddit, because I think the subreddit is like 100K on that subreddit. Now imagine if everybody sent letters of their stories and you have the same stamp of Operation Spotlight. I love the idea of the colored envelopes. So I think Jimmy was in the chat. He probably saw it.
Oh, okay.
So that's a good idea. Like, what if we all had one colored envelope that we can all get at the post office? Send everything in one shot. Put your story in. Because I'm definitely going to do it. They do hide pedophilia. We've already seen it on a worldwide stage. It happened to me personally. We talked about this already. It happened in Pennsylvania, Montana, Maine. Like, this is what we talk about. This is the news. And we know that JW.org is not going to cover this. Yeah. And like he said, the exact same thing that they were telling average Jehovah's Witnesses to mass send letters to Russia when Russia banned the Jehovah's Witnesses in their country. Why do you think they would do that? If, in your opinion, it's not going to do anything and you're wasting your time. And so why would an organization like Jehovah's Witnesses do it to Russia?
Yep.
because they know it is going to make an impact. It is newsworthy. A journalist will pick it up because it's a mass response to something. You're protesting through the mail system, the USPS. You're protesting that way.
Yeah.
And even if Trump doesn't read it, or even if it never reaches his desk, there's going to be thousands of people that are already going to be exposed to it, because you never know where that paper is going to go.
Yep.
Somebody's going to look at it on a desk. Somebody's going to catch their eye. Somebody's going to be like, whoa, what's this? The curiosity is what's going to get somebody to see that. And that's really all we need.
Yeah.
Yep. People will see it. Yep. All the creative juices are flowing tonight.
Yeah. This is exciting.
Yep. And that's the same way I view about voting. Like, why would a certain party want you to vote so badly if your vote doesn't matter?
Mhm.
Right? So why would they want you to write a letter so badly to Putin in Russia if it didn't matter? If it was just a waste of time? So no, I don't believe that. I do think we can make change. We can make an impact. And I would copy my letter and send it to my representative, to my senators, my governor, my congressmen,
Mhm.
and my attorney general's office. So I would have the template. I would also have my personal letter, and I would have the envelopes, and I would print out for each office and to direct the message to my representatives that this is something that they need to look into.
Mhm.
Yes, Chad, agreed. Can we please go after Watchtower as a business instead of religion? After all, they are a business. Yes, and a business that hides pedophilia. So they should be revoked for their charitable status. They don't even do charity.
Nope.
Shaq says we need a date/week to mail the letter so everything goes at the same time. Exactly. So if we can all send it within 2-3 days before the 1st of March, it'll get there by March 1st. Like a day, maybe a day before or 2 days before, depending on where you are in the country.
Mhm.
You send it just a few days before or the day before, and by the next day it should get there. So they might be the whole week, they might be receiving letter after letter with the same envelope, the same thing being said. Oh, Jimmy just commented and he said, I'll address everything folks are suggesting. Awesome, Jimmy. I'm glad he's here in the chat reading everybody. So that's what I wanted to share with everybody with the news tonight. And I hope that Vern also gets, I hope he watches this, honestly. Like, I hope he just watches it and sees what we talked about and our ideas. And please keep in touch with us on Discord. XJW server is called XJW Friends on our Discord server. And if you are a mod still in the chat, sorry for going for so long, please post that in the comment section, live chat. And we need more people, because there's like about 200 people on Discord alone on the server. So that's already 200 that we can get people to write. Colty says, Ruby, are you going to post it to the Discord when the letter is ready? Everyone needs to see it. Yeah. So as soon as the template is given to me, I'm going to create like a PDF file so I can just share it one way. So I'm not emailing everybody. I will send it on the server. Then you download it, make it your own, or include your own personal letter behind the template or cover sheet, whatever you want to do, and then put that in the envelope. So I will definitely do that. Yes, thank you, Colty, for putting that in the chat if anybody wants to join our server. Jimmy's in the chat. Good night, everybody. Good night, Jay. Have a great night. It's 11:30 on the East Coast right now. Ray says, oh, okay, he's talking to Shaq. All right, guys, join us on the Discord server. Thank you for watching. And congratulations to our show, because we hit over 100 views live. So this is really amazing. We are making a difference. People are watching and listening, because this is the first time that I have ever seen like over 100. I think there was like one other time that me and Vern really got a lot of viewers. So this is awesome, guys.
Yeah,
We are
there's
really
also-
spreading the message, and I think this operation is going to be amazing. If anybody would like to join us on Discord tonight, I am doing a TV night show on Discord. We are going to watch the new episode of Severance, season 2, episode 2, I believe.
Yes.
And I've been waiting a week for this. So if you're not there by like 2 minutes after this stream, I'm starting the show. So if you want to watch that show with us, you better be there on time, like right now.
Yeah, and the episodes are coming out weekly every Thursday night around like 11, 12, or yeah, sometime in between there.
Yes, Michelle. I'm glad you caught up. Everybody caught up because I want to watch that show like right now. I've been waiting all week. And I just finished watching House of Dragon, and season 3 ain't coming out till mid 2026. So I'm in pain right now. I'm depressed because the war is happening in King's Landing and I can't see nothing. So I don't know what the heck is going on.
All right, good night,
JT.
everyone.
Yeah, good night. It's not hard to join Discord. You just click the link or put it manually, and then it'll ask you some questions, and then you will join our server, and it's a general chat. You will see all of us there. We're very, very active, and I do movie nights and stuff like that. All right, guys. Good night, everybody.
All right, good night.
Bye.